What's up, guys? This is Ricky from Team Project Attraction. I'm here with Aleksander Vitkin. Say what's up.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to help us with funding our attractive lifestyle. Now, Alexander is actually a business coach who's been to 40 countries, coaching more than or coached over 400 guys, and he has his online mastermind. So we're going to dive into his story, kind of see how he got started, how he ditched the 9-to-5 and just started to go down his own path and decide to live life on his terms, even through business. So welcome, Alexander, and why don't you just get started by you telling us your story?
Yeah, it's basically was like this. I was in my early 20s and I had just graduated college. And at college, I was doing all these internships just in random companies. And it was a little bit interesting, but I was reading all these books about entrepreneurship. And I realized that there's no fucking way I'm going to exit college and get a job just like everyone else.
Let me ask you, what are the top 3 books that kind of inspired you at the start?
Top 3 books at the start. Okay, well, this has been like 8-9 years ago. Let me try to remember. Possibly, yeah, I remember. It was 4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich, and those types of books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think maybe I've read Even If Revisited back then already.
Okay.
Millionaire Fastlane. Those types of books are perfect for beginners.
Yeah.
Although I don't necessarily agree with everything in 4-Hour Workweek or anything like that, but it's a good book if you're just starting out and you just want to see what's possible.
Yeah, I think I remember that too. I mean, everyone disses that book, but for that, I didn't even know. I never went to college, and I never knew entrepreneurship existed. So that got my feet wet. So that's why I really get props to that book, The 4-Hour Workweek. That's awesome. So where did you go from there? Like after you kind of read that and found out that entrepreneurship existed,
yeah.
What was the next step?
So I was kind of retarded. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, to be honest. I hope I can say it on your YouTube channel, but
Yeah,
so basically I just started and I said, I'm going to be a consultant. And I went to companies and I'm like, I'm a consultant. And they're like, oh, you little boy, what are you consulting? I'm like, marketing. They're like, oh, clever little boy. Now get the fuck out of here. And that happened over and over and over. And after 2 years of doing that, I got a few sales here and there. Yeah. I started like a few little blogs trying to get like SEO rankings and stuff like that. And I actually instead of making money, I lost money. Yeah. Because in Belgium, you pay taxes. Even if you don't make a profit, you still pay taxes.
Really?
I know it's fucked.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. Yes. It's like Social Security and stuff like that. So I lost money and I had to go get a job for 8 months, pay off my debt and make some extra, like buffer money. So the next time I started a business was completely different. So instead of being in Belgium in my mother's basement or like some studio apartment for students, I packed all my shit, threw away everything that I didn't need, like guitar and all the stuff that you can't travel with, and hopped on an airplane and went to a city where I've never been before, which is Barcelona. And basically arrived there, nowhere to live, just like staying in a shitty hostel. And eventually I was just sitting in a room all day long for 6 months, just trying to figure out how the fuck am I going to survive.
Yeah.
I was making a little bit of money online, but nothing really substantial. And then what happened was I got a little bit of mentorship, and I used the skills that I learned before, which is mostly sales and marketing. And I was able to build a very successful business from there. And that's when I started traveling the world. So that's why I've been to 40 countries and stuff like that.
Time? Like that was like a very pinnacle moment, it sounds like, when you got rid of all your stuff, you moved to Barcelona. I mean, you say that like it's nonchalant, but I'm sure at the time it was very this was a big deal. You got rid of everything. You literally changed everything. And then you were like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, fuck it, like committed or die. So how did you get through that time? Like what motivated you?
I guess I was practicing pickup, and at the same time I just didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to the same old country, same old place, same old people. And I literally cut off almost all ties, and I was completely alone. And how did I get through it? I mean, I don't know. I just worked every day on what I believed in, and eventually from many 16-hour work days, eventually it worked out for me.
Yeah, it's like you didn't give yourself a choice, and so your option was either like lay there depressed or like work on your computer, probably. I'm sure.
Yeah, you have to sit there, and that if you don't make it work somehow, then you're going to starve. And if you, I mean, I'm not saying everyone should do this. If you're listening to this video and you're gonna like tell your mom you're gonna move out at the age of 18 and move to Barcelona, please don't do that. I already had experience. I already knew sales. If you know sales, you know that anywhere you go, you're gonna get results. Anywhere you go, you're gonna get success. If you know sales, it's very, very important. Okay. Also, I had some money. I had like 5,000 euros in my bank account from that job, so I had money saved up. And some of those like old blogs were making a few hundred here, a few hundred there. So I wasn't like completely broke and just said bye mom, bye dad, and just lived in an alley somewhere. I had good internet, I had a computer that worked, and I was just sitting there, and it was quite productive most of the time.
So, what were some of the big like milestones when you started getting traction and like being comfortable more and providing for yourself in your own business?
So actually, just general milestones. When I started meeting really successful people,
Mm-hmm.
so instead of being around just students or just like girls at a party somewhere or whatever, suddenly you're talking to a guy and he's casually talking about his $20 million company. And, somehow I managed to hold a conversation, even though I was retarded. And that is a pivotal moment. When you meet these people and the guy makes 20 million, and I met a guy who makes 100 million, then I met a guy who's just sold a company for 1.5 billion. And you're just sitting there, and they're just normal guys. They're just sipping their, martini or whatever. And you realize there is the same type of person that I can be. They're not like aliens. They're just normal human beings who have way more success than you do in business. And some of them are older. Some of them are quite young. They were like 30 or something. And, age doesn't really matter that much. And it's about like these guys, they work their asses off. So like the 50-year-old guy that I met, he's my mentor currently. He didn't take a single day off in his 20s. He worked like 14-hour days and stuff like that. He said, don't do that. He said, work 8 to 10 hours per day. So that's actually the next point. And that is, people think they watch some YouTube videos, they think you have to work the 16 hours a day. But what happens if you do that for like 2 months? You get burnt out. You're a wreck, and you hate business. You hate it because you overworked. But what I realized is if you do work less, if you work like just a normal 8-9 hours per day in your business, it can work out, but only if you work in it based on data and based on results, not based on, oh, let me try this and this and this and the other thing, and maybe one of them will stick. If you do it like that, you will fail. But if you just sit down and focus on one thing, and it's a proven strategy, a proven process that you just follow every single day, and preferably you get some help, it's kind of hard figuring stuff out by yourself, then those are like the major realizations that I had. And I guess when I work with people now, we work on all those things. It's super, super important.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yes. So what do you recommend now as far as like work hours? You said about 8 to 9 is good, but like it's highly focused work, and then you rest and whatnot as well. Yeah, because I hear a lot of guys do like 16 hours go, and everyone gets motivated. It's good if you can do that, but what I've learned too is like everybody's hustle is different, and not everybody's built the same. So the guy who's doing 16 hours, he's not built like you. It's like a guy that is huge, like in the gym. Well, maybe his body size is just naturally bigger, so it's easy for him compared to like maybe us, who are a little bit skinnier. We have to build it a little bit differently. So your own hustle, if you will.
I'm still here. So basically, I don't even believe that someone actually does 16 hours of concentrated, focused work. I don't believe that's even possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know that I was doing launches in 2014. It was just like like 16 hours almost of sales calls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, half of that was sales calls, and the other half was just like sitting there dazed and confused, trying to figure out when I'm going to go back to sleep so I can do another 16 hours of calls next day. It wasn't 16 hours of complete focused work. Now, if you can optimize your business and make it super, super efficient the way you work on your business, then those 8 to 10 hours, they are twice as valuable as the 16 hours of some guy who's just like hustling instead of, there's a combination. It's not just work hard. There's more to it than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe guys out there that are, into entrepreneurship or getting started or whatnot, what are like the three major skills that they need to like get down to be successful and, be thriving as an entrepreneur?
Well, that's easy. The three major skills are sales, how to get someone on a phone call. In other words, lead generation. You can call it marketing, whatever. But, if you're just starting out, just get a way to get people on the fucking phone, okay? Like, people build all these blogs and all these YouTube channels and all this stuff. No, just get a way to get people with money on the fucking phone and figure out what they want, then learn how to actually close the sale. I have a YouTube video. You can just watch it. It explains the whole sales process that we teach. And you just watch a video like that, or any sales training you want. You don't have to watch mine. And basically follow the sales process, get paid on the phone, or go visit the company in real life, and then figure out how to deliver the product. So the three skills: lead gen, sales, and how to deliver a product or service. For example, currently a very, very useful skill to learn, Facebook ads, is just currently it's a popular skill to learn because there's a lot of demand for it. A lot of people making a lot of money with Facebook ads. And most people are like, oh, Facebook ads, that's like for drop shipping, right? No, wrong. So another mistake that beginner entrepreneurs make is they go out and they think they're going to do drop shipping. And of course you ask them, okay, cool. How much money are you investing in your drop shipping company? They're like, well, it's not a company yet. We just, we spent $5 on Facebook ad. Like, oh, okay. So your revenue this year, it's been 5 months. Your revenue this year is how much? They're like, oh, $200, and profit is how much? Actually, we lost money. And that's actually the story that you hear over and over and over, because people find this catchphrase, like a weird catchphrase on the internet, is like make money with SEO or make money with drop shipping. Right. But they don't, like, no one tells them what it actually involves to actually do that. No one's going to tell you, by the way, if you don't invest $40,000 from day one, it's going to take you like 5 years before you make any real money. They don't really say that. Yeah. And of course, for most people, that is definitely the case.
Mm. Okay. So you do a lot of traveling too while you work, correct?
Yeah.
So how do you balance with traveling or work, or how do you set that up? Is it like aligned with your work? Like you're like, okay, I'm gonna work here for a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that. So
we have I use a very, very specific system that I'll tell you exactly how it works in a second, but it's basically, it's quote unquote developed through trial and error, because I made all the mistakes you can possibly make with travel. Because I thought, oh, I'm just going to keep traveling. I'll just get this suitcase here and, it'll work out. No, it doesn't just work out. You can't just go there and sit in a hostel surrounded by drunk people and people smoking weed all day. You're not going to get any work done. And the internet is not going to work. So go to a country with good internet where you're not going to get killed or robbed. South Europe perhaps, maybe North America somewhere, maybe some parts of Thailand perhaps. I recommend Taiwan, by the way. Cheap country, clean, good internet, and so on. Can get a lot of work done, and whatever else you guys want, you'll get it. Trust me. So, and what else? So the way I travel, a lot of people that I know travel, is we stay in places at least 3 months. Okay. And the golden rule is less than 3 months. Like 89 days. There's reasons for that are outside of
what's the 3 month gap? Like, what's the reasoning behind that?
It's okay. There's legal stuff as well involved with this, which I'm definitely not going to cover. But basically, it's also so you kind of travel a lot, because every 3 months, that's a lot of places you're going to be living in over the course of a year, and it's sustainable. Okay, so you're not going to get burnt out from traveling every week, which is just ridiculous. Never do that. And another reason for 3 months is you can sit down and get work done. You can establish all your habits, your routines in every location, but you're also not going to get bored. If you do 4 months, it already starts getting boring. You're sitting there in the same old city, and it's like, why am I doing this again? I'm not even traveling. I'm just sitting here working in a desk in a random country. It's not fun. But if you do 3 months, it's something new every 3 months. And I've been doing it for 5-6 years already, so it's sustainable and it's fun at the same time.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely something I want to start doing more of.
Yeah, and another thing is you can actually rent a place. Like I rented this apartment. I just converted the living room to a studio, started a modeling agency. You can just do that, you know.
Cool.
But if you're travel entrepreneur and you're sitting in hostels with backpackers who smell, by the way, so what happens then is no one gets, like, I know those guys, they don't get any work done. Just they just tourists basically. So I guess to summarize, don't be a fucking tourist, okay? You're not traveling for tourism. You're traveling to experience maybe different cultures, a few hours a day, maybe. You walk around the street, you meet some people, whatever, you know, whatever you guys are into. So basically, you can do whatever you want, but you're living there, but you're not a tourist. It's very important distinction.
Okay. And the next question I want to ask you was, what are the best ways to grow your brand online, or like the best ways you found to grow your own personal brand online? Because I know you said too, like the major thing is lead generation. Like a lot of people, they set up blogs and stuff. And they're like, yeah, I feel good about myself, but it doesn't do anything. So what's the smartest way to grow your brand that's also bringing in leads for your business?
So anyone watching this and you want to start a business, don't make this your first business. Personal brand is the worst possible first business that you can possibly go into unless you already have a inbuilt audience, okay?
Wow.
Or you have a lot of money to invest, or you have the skill to build a list somehow, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So unless you have those things, please don't start a personal brand. What you should be doing is selling services to companies so you learn all those skills while you're getting paid. So all the skills you're going to need later on when you do want to start a personal business potentially, you're going to learn by selling the services to companies, and they pay you, you learn it to a high level, and then if you want to start a personal brand, it's going to be trivial, okay? So for me, I started my personal brand in 2014. I already had 6 years experience in business. So for me, it was like 2 weeks in, I was making $6,000 to $9,000 per month already in that business. And, you know, in the first 2 weeks, I was kind of just making daily videos and promoting it on social media, stuff like that. And my mentor's like, oh, that's cute, Alex. You have 14 videos, one every day. Aren't you a good little employee? I'm like, what do you mean? Why are you hurting my feelings? And the guy's like, fuck your feelings. Business is not about your shitty little videos that you're going to laugh at in 2 years. Business is about sales. Get a sale. 5 minutes later, I was in a call, and about 15 minutes later, I had my first sale. Okay. So otherwise it would have taken me, I don't know, like months probably before I decided to get the first sale. Very valuable lesson, like get the first fucking sale, no matter what you do. You know, guys, they sit around, build their little, I didn't have a website. You think I had anything? Absolutely not. My website, I built it like 6 months into the business. And the first logo, I kind of made it in MS Paint somewhere. Not that I couldn't afford $200 for a logo. I just don't care. Fuck the logo. Who cares about it? Like, guys spend 3 months figuring out the logo, and then they start doing sales. Disaster. Don't do that. After 3 days, guys I work with, after 3 days, they're supposed to be on sales calls. If they're not on sales calls after 3 days, we're like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? We're not a school. This is not like, business is not a school. You're not a student. You're here to sell.
Yeah,
and
it's funny how trivial people get stuck on such trivial things, such as like the logo or something like that, rather than like the hardcore skill set of like sales and marketing and, you know, all the stuff you actually need that actually has real world application and whatnot.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not people's fault when they make these mistakes. I've made these mistakes so many times. It's ridiculous. Over the period of 6 years, I made these mistakes over and over and over. So it was a really hard and very, very expensive lesson to learn. But these days, I guess the best way is find just a proven business model, and it doesn't have to be interesting. It doesn't have to be your passion. And let me tell you a secret, it's not going to be your passion, okay? People think they're going to find their passion. They're automatically going to get work done. It's not true. You know, like I know what you're doing, I guess, and okay, it's a tricky conversation topic, but it's a lot of work, right?
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's that you don't like automatically wake up and automatically get work done because it's your passion. I imagine maybe you do, maybe you don't. But what do you think?
Passion burns out, and you have to constantly find more new motivations. And there's sometimes when you just don't have motivations, it doesn't come to you, and you have to like produce content, you have to produce marketing stuff, you have to make a sale. So yeah, there's highs and lows with it. It isn't just like this cloud of passion that you just like gravitate on towards success. Like, no, there's highs and lows for sure.
That's why people want to become self-development coaches, because they look at the guy on YouTube and he's like flying through life. Oh, hey, Richard Branson. Hey, Steve Jobs. Oh, you're dead. Oh, hey, this guy and that guy. And everyone thinks, oh, that's great. Yeah, I want to be a self-development coach. You know, like a 19-year-old guy, I want to be a self-development coach. And he doesn't know sales. He doesn't know marketing. He doesn't even know how to create a website. He has nothing to talk about. He just like repeats stuff from books. And what happens is absolutely useless waste of time, basically. Whereas a person who just makes the money first, does something that the world actually needs, you know, something that there's demand for, he learns those skills and he can do whatever the fuck you want, basically. You know, once you learn sales and you know how to get a person on the phone, you can do whatever you want. You can go live in Antarctica if you want.
So it's like you have to have those core foundational skills of sales, marketing, and lead generation. And then if you want to do your passion, once you got that foundation down, then you can fuel your passion later.
So it's a little bit tricky. You know, this passion stuff is a little bit tricky. So what happens is people, this happened a few times. So actually just 2 months ago it happened. So we had a guy, YouTube channel, 30,000 subscribers, all this stuff, much bigger audience than mine. I only have, oh no, wait, I have like 25K if you count Facebook, but still bigger audience than I. And I'm like, okay, cool. You have an audience. You can be a coach. I'll teach you how to coach and everything. 2 weeks in, he tells me, actually, I've changed my mind. I want to be a coach. I'm going to sell Facebook ads because the other people that are selling Facebook ads, they seem actually excited about this stuff. Sure. And after 2 years of being a self-development coach, and he got promoted by other YouTubers, so he was able to build a significant audience. So after 2 years, he just said, oh, fuck that. I'm just going to sell Facebook ads. Makes more money. And it's not like, so where does passion come into this? Are you going to be passionate about something you make no money with? Well, you could pretend you are, but then you wake up in the morning and you have to go and work a shitty job, you know? So you can be passionate about something, but are you actually spending the time on it? Are you free to spend time on it? Or is your time owned by your employer, right? So the whole passion thing, I don't believe in the passion, finding passion. And like a 19, 20, whatever, something 30-year-old guy, they don't know what their fucking passion is. Passion is won through hard work, usually. Like even what you're doing, I'm sure, you know, you have an inbuilt passion. You know, it's biological, but also after doing it for a while, you actually, you know, then maybe you become passionate about it and teaching other people. That's usually how it works for most people. I don't think
continue, like I said, continue to find new motivations. And I think Michael Jordan was the same way with like basketball, is he had to continue finding new motivations like every year to push him harder. Like what's something new, and you have to find new outlooks in it, because you get bored of it for a while too, or you kind of, that burns away. So you have to continually find things to bring back to you. One question I wanted to ask you was, you know, you talked about these guys that you kind of put yourself around, very successful guys that were making millions of dollars, 20 million, hundreds of millions of dollars. What are the best ways for guys that want to network and meet mentors and influencers? What have you found was the best way to do that?
Spend money. Okay. Spend a lot of money, okay? People think they're going to go on the street and meet some millionaire or whatever. You could do that. But if you want to meet people who are above that, who are like 8-9 figures and more, you know, 100 million, maybe $1 billion net worth and stuff like that, you're going to find them actually quite easily. But you need to spend money on events, okay? So I was going to these events, and it was I remember one of them was like $3,500 for 4 days.
Yeah.
And maybe a few people here and there were actually quite successful. Everyone else was, you know, average, kind of 6-7 figure kind of person. See what I mean? But you don't have to do that. That was an extreme, you know, that was quite a lot of money. You could also spend 25K and meet Richard Branson, by the way. There's a way to do that. You can go to his island, you know, he'll shake your hand. You can go in the hot tub with him, apparently, like parasailing or whatever. You can do all those things, but it's gonna take money. Other ways of doing it, I was actually, before I could do that, I was emailing people all the time. And the email was not like, oh, please, sir, help me. The email was all about them and how I can help them. I had valuable skills.
That's
Sorry?
That's a big one that I've learned personally, just networking, even just like meeting guys like you and like other people that kind of hit me up is the giving versus taking vibe. And it's like, if you really just make it about the person, how can I benefit this person? People are like very receptive. They're like, oh, thank you. Like everyone appreciates someone who has like looked at their work, appreciates what the time and effort they put into it, and wants to like get their story. But if you're like, hey man, can you help me out, please? It's like, dude, no, like the hungry dog doesn't get fed. You have to provide some sort of value, even if it's just good vibes and telling the person you appreciate their work. That goes a long way too. And so, yeah, I've noticed that a lot. It's a big one.
So, I'll tell a very specific story. My current mentor, $100 million business owner, in his 50s. He looks like 40 years old. He just had a kid, but if you're wealthy and you take care of yourself, you look very young. And also he's been like reducing stress. It's amazing. Most healthy guy ever. You could just run a marathon and stuff like that. So a very, very inspirational person to know. Very, very inspirational. How do I meet this magical unicorn? Well, I'll tell you. I went to a event and it was $1,000 to learn some Google Analytics or whatever. It was some random technical little event, and he was just sitting next to me. And of course, the habit that I had was talk to everyone. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? I was like, oh, I just run this, back then it was like $80 million company. I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. It's like, holy shit, this guy's insanely, insanely successful. So I just talked to him, and half the seminar, I was just talking to him and just telling him about like meeting girls and just random stuff. And he's like, oh, that's cool. Let's connect. Here's my Facebook or whatever. And then, just met him a couple of times. He flew over to visit me in Barcelona one day. I'm like, not like taking him out for Michelin star dinners. And I'm not like, can you be my mentor, please? Like he doesn't even know what that is probably. I've never used the word mentor with anyone. Yeah. Only on YouTube and only talking to people who are interested in learning stuff. I tell them this word mentor. Everyone else, we don't talk about this. It's just, I just have him on Facebook and I'm like, hey, what would you do in your business if this happened? He's like, oh, here's the answer, like 5 words. And I do it, implement it, tell him, I just made this much money with your advice, thanks. And my friend made this much money with your advice, thanks. That's it. I'm not like having him sign a document, like certificate of mentorship or anything like that.
You are now
it's just what?
I said, like you sent him a document. You are now my mentor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you're not getting married. It's just a successful entrepreneur, and the base level of a successful entrepreneur is if you're not an idiot and constantly begging him for jobs and money and retarded shit like that, and if you're just a valuable person to be around, you have cool stories, you have an interesting life, and you're going somewhere, right? If they feel you're going up, not down, like most people are going down all the time. It's kind of weird. But if they feel you're not going down, you're going up, they want to be around you, Because most people, they act super weird around them. It's like a hot girl, basically. In
it's that celebrity status. It kind of puts them in their head and kind of like fucks them up a little bit. Yeah, it's very strange. I would ask you too. I mean, you're one thing I admire about you is you're a big book reader. I love reading books too. So I think you put a post. You read about 3 books a week. Is that correct?
Yeah. I speed read. It takes 9 hours only. People are like, 3 books a week. That's too much, man. But it isn't. It's 9 hours per week. Like anyone has 9 hours per week.
So what are like the most recent books? What are your top book recommendations that have kind of inspired you this past month?
It's a funny book called Triggered. And another book, I'm very bad at remembering book names. Let me open up my folder here. Hopefully it doesn't screw up the recording here. Let me just open up the folder. So there's The Happiness Advantage, amazing book. Like everyone listening to this, go read it right now. I've reread. Sorry?
Doesn't that book, Happiness Man, just like talk about turmeric a lot? Like just praises the spice turmeric. It says like it helps your brain and whatnot. Is that the same book?
Oh, I skip any parts about supplements. It's usually just bullshit. I don't even like. I'm interested in like the mindset and the actual stuff that works, not the stuff they try to sell in the books, because they're selling you stuff. Of course, it's not just a book. I don't really, I'm not into the whole supplement stuff. I just take some basic stuff that is scientifically proven, like omega-3 and stuff like that. I don't really focus on any book. any part of the book that is weird woo-woo stuff. Another book that I'm reading right now is Split the Difference. It's about negotiation. It's one of the core principles in sales is negotiation. If you know negotiation, you're going to be better at sales, basically.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I have here? Okay. This is one, right? Oh, okay, that one doesn't want to open. Actually, here I also read the 3%, How to Be a 3% Man. That is actually on topic for a YouTube channel, I think. Okay. It's a little bit more mainstream type of dating material, okay. But I'll tell you one thing about it. Let me just maximize my screen. So the thing about this book is it teaches you also about sales. It teaches you about how people think. I wouldn't take any of the advice in it that is like how to approach or anything like that. Like, don't read this book for that. This book is about mindset and how people think and how you can kind of use that in a non-evil way to get what you want. It's a very interesting book.
Influence them, right?
Sorry?
To influence them, right?
Influence, yes, to influence them.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Aleksander, for being on here. If people, I'm sure there's some entrepreneurs out there, if they want to get in contact with you or want to coach you or any products, where can they reach you?
So to reach me, the best place is always Facebook. So my name is, I have a quite unique name, Aleksander Vitkin, but if you just type in Vitkin anywhere, you'll find me. Okay. And content is just go to, my YouTube channel.
Okay. I'll post a few links in the bio down below too, so they can find you through that as well.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. And I usually reply on Facebook if when people message me. Some people try messaging me on Instagram. I don't really read Instagram that much. So
cool. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
All right. Thanks. Enjoy. Bye.
This little piggy got a house made of bricks, hand over hand over hand over fist. This little piggy got a house made of bricks. Huff and puff, bitch, you ain't blowing down shit.